Hey everyone, your friendly neighbor BenThePants back with another video. Today we are doing an account review for Grey Sama. He's also asked me to rune up his arena defense and some siege defenses. So the plan is to take a look at his account to find out exactly where he is in the game, then help determine where his priorities should be. And who knows, you may find yourself in the same shoes as him, so hopefully you find this video helpful as well. So the very first thing I noticed looking at his account profile here is it says he's only been playing for 4 days, which is weird and I think has to be inaccurate. He did have an issue where he accidentally fed a monster, and I think Comtuous did a reset for him. Anyways, that's just kind of a silly thing. No Necro team, no Steel Fortress, no Punisher, no R5, so he needs to make some teams to farm with. Like, what is this? This is weird. So continuing on with this weirdness, I see he can't do repeat battle until he clears raid level 1. If I look at his runes, he has grinds. So how do you grind things without completing raid level 1? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, so I'm just gonna pretend that his account is fine and he should have these teams, but for some reason they were reset, something along those lines. So first thing I'll say, no matter what area of the game you're in, you need to pursue your farming teams. So I'm going to assume he has a Necro team. I mean, Dracaru can work in Necro, so I'm going to assume that he's got these teams, and just for some reason, whenever Comtuous did that account reset thing, it made things funky, really funky. So I did farm Giants a little bit, and I did notice we had a loss at like the 6th attempt or something, so it's not exactly consistent yet. So I would keep pursuing your Giants team to be consistent to where it never fails, because you're just wasting energy and time if you're failing your dungeon run. So make sure that they're all safe. Let's take a look at towers. So you got max towers on all these. That's all good. And these you're on your way to, so that's good. But yeah, the arena towers are of course very important. They apply to every area in the game, so I would max this one too. Might as well get as much energy as you can. That way you don't have to spend as much money on Daddy Comtuous. I saw he didn't have his Devilmon for the week, so I bought that. He also didn't have his reappraisals crafted. Yeah, so I crafted these. He has a lot right now, so I might use some. We got 31 of these. I don't think he's been using these either, and I would make sure to do these every week because there's no reason not to. I like to do like 2 of each, so fire, water, winds, like that, and then 1 LD. That's typically what I do for my 7. And that way, if you're farming artifacts and you need, some kind of engraved thing, you might have it. The more expensive ones that use the 4-star, I want to do those. I like to use those over here, which is, it's honestly kind of wasteful, but I just really want an LD. So far, just looking at your account, you probably need all your 4-stars to be used as skill ups on your other 4-stars. You want to have a max skilled family before you start throwing away at LD pieces. Alright, just gonna take a look through his monster box to see what I see as far as what monsters he owns. So right away I'm looking at his second awakened monsters here, and I don't see a Lucia, which is like my favorite monster, so I don't like that. Should build second awakened Lucia and multiples of her because she's one of the best siege offense monsters in the game. Certainly a good dupe worthy unit. I only see 1 Lulu. Lulu is certainly another dupe-worthy unit to pursue if you're looking to do better in Siege. Dupes of any kind are really important in Siege, but particularly supports. Like, let's see, do you have multiple Tessarions? I see 2 Colleen's, that's interesting. Yeah, I only see the 1 Tessa, so Tessarion is another unit I would pursue. You can get him from Guild Shop, of course, and just kind of hope you look out in summoning him. I tend to buy my Ifrit pieces every week just for Ifrit skill ups or for more Tessarion, so it's a long grind, but it's worth it in my opinion. You do have just nice units in general, like nice units for defense. I see the Nora here. Leo's of course good. I see the Miles is nice. Liam might be fun to try out in the Solar 5. I know Seishizo made a Liam Solar 5 video. Good monsters for RTA too. At the Carnal, Dominic be fun. 2 Savannahs is nice. Tiana, of course, one of the best offense units. You can do a Kamoon Bastet Odin. Then you have Bastet, yeah, Bastet right here. So Kamoon Bastet Odin is the defense you can run, and it's pretty good on offense too. Riley is a good dupe to build. What's your Lucian look like? So you have a Fatal Blade, and then a Rage Blade. I wonder if you could combine these sets into a better Fat Lucian. I don't really have any use for Lucian other than Fat Lucian personally. I think it's best to just have 1 as strong Lucian as you can possibly get on him, and then move runes. Delphoy is a new dupe-worthy unit. We got 2 Lorens, probably 1 for BJ5, and then 1 just violent. Missing artifacts. I think it'll probably be a common theme as far as accounts go that artifacts are lacking, just because they're like the newest thing in the game to farm. Like, we've had runes forever, we've had grinds for a long time, so artifacts are probably across the board. Everyone needs to get better artifacts. Here's the LD. You got a Martina. I almost said Shartina, but yeah, you could do a Martina, Shayna, Triana defense. Amduat might be what I use in your arena defense, like Carnal, Amduat, Abelio, and Triana, or something like that. Or I could do the Vanessa, Shartina, Triana kind of team. Arena defense is tricky. I feel like the best arena defenses are just Molly, Abelio, kind of stalled defenses, or Tianlang, but Tianling is obviously pretty premium. So I put together some siege defenses for him. I haven't runed them yet, but just showing what I plan to run. Martina, Shayna, Triana is just stood the test of time. It's not particularly good in G3 at this point. People have tons of counters, but if you build it well, it can certainly do well G2 and below. Theo, Savannah, Nora, and Nana, Savannah, Juno are pretty similar, and then Leo can counter the Savannah. But overall, these 2 defenses are fairly meta. They do pretty well. I like Perna better than Juno, personally, just because I like that, you know, if someone is cleaving it or killing it in whatever way, everyone comes back. Here, Juno has no way of coming back except through the Nana, and I feel like Perna just does more damage and more healing. My Kamun Bastet Odin still does well. It's not a crazy good defense anymore, not like it used to be, but I know our boy Sean B still has trouble with it, so we can do a Kamun Bastet Odin. And then he doesn't have any Sierra or Perna that I saw, or Rakan, so I was thinking like a Sierra, Ryan, Rakan kind of thing, but he doesn't have that option. And no Wusa for a Molong Wusa, so this is my closest thing to Molong Wusa and like Savannah or Molongusa, Molly, or anything like that. A beta, because he has that, and then the Dominic I think should be fun. So I think all 5 of these should do well at the rank you're at, assuming we can get them runed pretty well. So we'll try and do that. So a moment ago I brought up artifacts and how I think pretty much everyone needs to farm more of these, and you are no exception. I was looking at Abelio for your arena defense, and I just looked at, you know, damage taken from wind to counter Lucian, and you seem to only own 2. That's it. View equipped artifacts. Yeah, 4 total damage reduction from wind on your water artifacts. So that's not enough. You got to farm more artifacts for sure. So if you don't have safe teams for those, again, since your account got like fixed up by Com2uS, I don't know about your Punisher and Steel Fortress team, because like obviously you have farmed these before, you have artifacts, so the fact that it says none and that it's 4 days, that's just, oh, now it's 5 days. Congratulations, 5-day anniversary. It's just weird. Also, he told me he got C2 Arena in our emails, and here he is F2 Arena. I'm so confused about that. I don't know if you need to like message Com2uS back and be like, dude, what's up? I don't know. It's very confusing. So another thing I've noticed is just that you have like good runes sitting in storage or sitting on, you know, units that you probably don't need it to be, like, you know, sitting on this blue Inferno or whatever his name is. These are great runes that just need grinds. So grind them, farm solo R5. I farm R5 probably more than anything else, which is like good and bad. R5 in general drops grinds and gems for every single rune type, and we really only care about certain rune types. So that's like the most annoying part about Solar 5, is you're getting a lot of focus and guard and energy and blade, and you really want the violent, will, swift, revenge, that kind of thing. So the fact that you have the entirety of the pool within, you know, R5 is the most frustrating thing about it. But as far as where you are in the game, which I would say is like early mid game, that kind of thing, I mean, that's all arbitrary definitions, but just being on your account, it seems you need to farm Solar 5 like mad and just get all the grinds you can possibly get your hands on. And to me, I'm really liberal with them. I just throw them on everything. I try to max out everything. Like, I'm not happy with a plus 4%. I want everything to be plus 7%. I'm not happy with plus 3 speed. I want everything to be plus 4 speed. I try to get max purple grinds on every single rune. Some runes are a little more worthy, and I'll try and get those to plus 5 or plus 10. And I don't care how many grinds it takes. I just keep doing it. It served me well. Again, it's going to take a long time, but this game is a grind, so that's just how it is. So anyways, I'm going for a Despair Revenge on your Nana. Revenge is just always a good offset with Despair to potentially counterattack and land a stun. Alright, so as I've been trying to move runes on people, I keep getting the error that, you know, I don't have enough inventory, so it took some time to sell a bunch of junk. I know there's been like a gazillion videos on which runes should you keep, so I don't know what all creators have made that. I'm sure Xennial and people like that have made videos on what you should keep, what you should sell. I know I've just seen them throughout the years, so it might be beneficial to search up one of those and give them a view. But to me, it just comes with experience, just like practice, knowing the game, knowing how to rune monsters. Something like this, the shield rune, it's just garbage. Like I look at it and it's just garbage. You might think, oh, it's a legend, so I might reappraise it someday, but it's a slot 5 with no innate in its shield, so I would never reappraise this. I don't know anyone that would ever reappraise this, and there's only one usable substat on there, so it's just instantly garbage. I mean, I'm saying these things and you might actually know them already. It could be that you're just like farming dragons and you log out of the game, and so instead of selling those runes, you keep them. I do that all the time. So if it's something like that, then sorry for repeating things you probably already know, but I just figured I'd just share it anyways. I didn't click on all these, I kind of went randomly, but you know, if it's a purple one with speed, you might want to attempt for +3, and if it rolls into speed, then go for it. Something like this, it's a slot 3, it has both percents, so like let's say it just quad rolls into HP, well that's a usable rune. You can gem out the crit damage for speed and it's a good rune, so you could keep something like that and just see how it rolls. Sometimes with the more you play the game, you just like get cynical on things, so you'll see a rune like that, like I'm not gonna bother, you know, attempting for the +3, like it's not gonna roll speed, so why even try? Anyways, selling, I don't know, what is this, 2 million mana worth, so I think a fair amount, so I should have space. 24, 21, 23, 30, so a good 100 runes got rid of there. Alright, at this point I should have all of his defenses runed up, so quick showcase of all of them. So Triana I have on a Violent Shield set. The shield is to help out Martina and Shayna, which are on Will, so they're technically on Shield Will, which is like a protection against certain cleaves, particularly if they bring Orion on the offense, which isn't super frequent, but it happens. And they're built relatively tanky to try and combat any type of cleave, whether it's Stella or the Water Twins or Lucian, whatever it might be. The goal is to hopefully out tank them, and then you win with just violent procs and stuns. So that's Shartina. Over here we have Nana, Savannah, and Juno, and then Nana, Savannah, Nora. It's hard enough to rune one Savannah, so runing 2 is certainly challenging. This one you can see is much slower than you would like Savannah to be, but overall the stats are pretty good. Decent crit rate, good attack, okay HP. I want like plus 15k minimum. A lot of these runes again are not maxed, so once we get some grinds and gems and max our slot 1, 3, and 5. I'm not sure if all the artifacts are maxed. Some of these artifacts are still at like plus 12 or whatever, but I tried to max a ton. Like I can show you this. This is, yeah, that's been a lot of powering up. I've spent like 30 million mana so far, or probably closer to 40 because I've been farming the whole time too. But anyways, so we have one Violent Blade and then one Swift Blade. So the Swift Blade one has comparable stats, of course a little bit faster, but less attack than the Violent one, but more crit rate. I do have 36% accuracy, so with Nana's leader skill, she'll be at max accuracy, which is nice, and that means I don't need to look for like skill 3 accuracy on our artifact, whereas this Savannah does not have much accuracy and no accuracy lead, and so I'm looking for skill 3 accuracy on that artifact. Nora here is Violent Focus, really close to max accuracy, which is great for her strips and provokes and dots and all that. I didn't realize, but Nora has a relatively high base attack. That's kind of cool. Her defense is lower than I'd like to be. Her HP is lower than I'd like to be, but she is at the 239 breakpoint, which is nice. And again, slot 1, 3, 5, just gotta max all those and then grind all the runes. Theo, I actually like the way your Theo is runed. Also, I'm just running low on Violent to make Violent happen because I runed up your, you know, your twins, your Savannahs, and Odin, taking up a lot of your like speed and crit rate and crit damage and all that kind of thing. So rather than trying to force a crappy Violent set onto Theo, we'll just keep this glass cannon high damage rage build. Similarly, slot 1, 3, 5, max those. I'll just keep saying that until you do it, basically. Bastet slower than I'd like it to be. Would prefer it to be at this speed in Violent or Despair, but in this case, more swift at this speed, and that just is what it is. Looking at where you are, like looking at your guild mates, I think I saw, I mean, this guy's Swift Focus plus 154, and you're plus 175, and I didn't steal your Fast Swifts from your Triton or Chiwu or anything like that, so it seems like you were runes comparable or better than your guild mates, which that's good. Also, a lot of these defenses are bad. A lot of them are really bad, but maybe they have good runes. There was a time when I thought a plus 148 violent set was just like god tier, and times have changed. That's a bad Sierra. Purple rune on that thing. Where looking at where your guild's at, I think your defenses are pretty solid. You should be getting some wins. Though you aren't in siege currently, so you might want to be like, yo, let me in, and get yourself some free contribution. Your commune is actually pretty decent. Not as fast as I'd like it to be. I'd like it to be like plus 150, but still pretty good. Decent HP. Again, more grinds. Max all those. Odin, I did get on Violent Will. You had him like on Broken Runes, kind of like your Juno was. It was just all over the place, but Violent Will is just a lot better. I actually stole your Shayna's runes to make this happen, because Martina Shayna does not need to be like squishy damage doers. They work just as well as a tanky build, and they work better on defense as a tanky build, so just stick with the tanky build. It is slower than I'd like it to be, but I think it is still tuned to Bastet, and that's what's important. This Molong Beta Dominic will probably do well in the low rank that y'all are at, because people just don't know how to deal with Dominic that well since he's new, and also LD abuse and Molong abuse. So anyways, I would max your Molong. I think I put him on your top of your Devilmon priority list. I'll just pull that up real quick. All right, so I kind of made this, I can move myself over here. Very nice. So this is just like a summary, and I'll send this to you, but where I think you should be farming, the order of how I would prioritize your Devilmons, that kind of thing. And then just some notes about your siege defenses on your monsters, like what I recommend gemming out of a particular rune. Yeah, some of them have more notes than others, but I'll finish this up and then I'll send it to you. As far as siege offenses goes, just build more dupes. Dupes is how you get better at siege or get more wins in siege. Just build all the dupes, especially supports. And then if you haven't already seen them, that 7 free-to-play decks, and I had 10 other free-to-play decks as an older video, but a lot of those teams work just fine still today, so I would build those. Galleontiana Poseidon is something you can build. Dagora you haven't built yet. I would build Dagora. He's a great water tank. Tractor Windy Lulu. All these teams. Tractor Windy Lulu's in this video. How to rune it and all that. I'll get into Arena next, but I'm happy to be done with Siege. It's 11 o'clock now. Hopefully I can get the Arena defense knocked out and call it a night. Alright, so just some brief RTA advice. In particular, you asked about using Jackson in RTA. Looking at his passive again, I guess the idea is that he's relatively strong against attack bar pushback, so like a Chien-Pung, Savannah, Ganymede, he counters in quotes. You know, they're pushing to 0, and anytime that happens, your entire team gets 10%. But if you're going to 0, from 0 to 10 is like, it's nothing, you know? So to me, he's not a particularly good counter into CC. More so, he just, I like the second effect. This increases the effect of attack bar increasing skills of all allies by 50%. I think he combos off really well with the oracles. So Xira, Juno, Praha, their skill 1 on a crit rate build. Instead of going to 45%, it would be like 67% attack bar. And then Shiho, his skill 2, you know, whenever he stuns, he gets 25%. Instead, it'd be 37.5% per stun. So he might be able to take a turn even if it only lands 3 stuns, stuff like that. If you're going to do a cleave with like Bastet, you could have an easier time speed tuning because her attack bar increase instead of 25% would be 37.5%. Attack bar of all allies will be increased by 25%. Okay, so maybe Hagang and Jackson together could be a good anti-CC little combo there. So anything like that I feel is a good Jackson combo. You do have good RTA units. I'd say with where you are in the game, instead of like being try hard in RTA, you should just have fun with it. I would rune up as many monsters as you want and just play around with it and like try to get your monthly LD scroll or something. But I want to try to be as competitive as you can because you still have a ton of farming to do. So get your farming in order, and then delve into RTA more, like take it more seriously. But for now, I would just rune up units and play around with them. That way you can learn the game and that kind of thing. Alright, as far as arena defense goes, I'll say right out of the gate that, like, let's say your goal is C3 or G1, your arena defense doesn't play as significant as a role as your offense does. You need to be able to just win as quickly as possible and refresh your wings and just keep winning over and over again. Your arena defense, I think, plays a more important role the higher rank that you get. Once you get to like the G2 and G3, if you don't have Tian Langs or Mollies or just OP artifacts with wind damage reduction and running like double aerial, double Molly kind of nonsense, you know, up there I think the defense is more important. Here it plays, I mean, it's going to play a role, but to me it's a minor role. I think having your offenses in order is what's going to get you to the next tier. At any rate, here's the defense that I picked out. It's pretty strong against Lucian. Everyone's built, you know, super high HP, and then the Carnal is the HP lead. Do I see the runes like this? No. Defense. There it is. So Abellio pretty tanky, having an enhanced set to give everyone a little bit more HP. The Omduat is okay against Tiana. The thing about that is you need to be just as fast as possible with your Omduat, and so you could try Despair and then just have his, or not Despair, Swift, and just have his skill 2 be the thing instead of Despair. Despair is a little more premium for Omduat, but the goal is to just be as fast as possible on your Omduat, so after Tiana moves, you cut in between. So really Swift might be better. But anyways, I just forced a Despair set. I'm actually running low on mana at this point, so I can take a look at it. Triana, this is the same Triana that you're using in your siege defense, so I didn't want to mess with its runes. But it's an okay Triana. It gives you a shield set, so if they don't have a stripper on their offense, like if it's a Lucian type cleave, the shield will help out in that regard. And then Carnal's on a violent will set, high accuracy, which is good. Not as tanky as I'd like him to be, but the speed is decent. This artifact is bad. It's bad. Get rid of it. This one, also bad. I mean, it has accuracy. Attack or one revive is very mediocre though. I guess this is an okay artifact for him. Like 3 of the substats are good, but this one's bad and the main stat is bad. So anyways, you gotta farm artifacts, but I think you need to farm grinds more. For a second I thought these were flat too. I was like, why did I put this on him? This gem and defense %, grind those and you're good. That's your arena defense. And my guess is, okay, you actually do have decks here. That's good. So your R5 team had no decks saved, so I wasn't sure if whenever they did the account reset, if that all got messed up too. These are some interesting arena offenses. Your Lucian was a little like subpar, but you could do a Lucian cleave still, I think. Build a Tian. So Konamiya or Tian along with speed leader. All right, so I added just a few more arena offense decks you can try. So Samath to give you a nice 33 speed lead, also more damage and increasing cooldowns. Galleon does Galleon things. Tiana you want to do on a Swift set, and then Zeros or Poseidon to finish off whatever happens to be there. These are 2 solid cleaves. The problem is, of course, Tiana's base speed, so you can replace Tiana with Triton instead if you know, speed isn't going to be an issue for you. The team would work the same way. You just better have max accuracy on the Triton and then cross your fingers that he does what he's supposed to do. Over here I couldn't find a Tian or a Konamiya built, so I just have this, but build this guy if you haven't already. Basically your Bestep moves and then your Tian boost the turn to the Lucian cleaves, and then Jemaya resets and you do it again is kind of the goal. There's another mechanic, like if they have a Leo on defense, you can do a double Nemesis Will Megan. So the offense looks something like this. Again, this is into Leo arena defenses, which you won't see too frequently, but when they pop up, it's a really good counter to it. You have Megan on a double Nemesis Will build, so whenever Leo hits the Megan, her attack bar increases, so she takes the next turn, boosts the entire team, and then your whole team will be moving. So you'll do double Lucian to kill everything, and Mephisto will prevent any revives, you know, and you could change the leader skill to an attack leader skill or something depending on whatever the situation might be. Those are just some more arena offenses you could try runing up. I think that's going to be it for this video. If you're interested in having me do some kind of service like this, feel free to send me an email. It's in the description, and we can talk about it. And yeah, that's it. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and If you want to join my Discord, you can click the join button down below, and that's it. Y'all have a good one. Bye.